First strike. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the command center of Europa Station Deep, watching holographic displays track the approaching hegemony vessels. 20 years of military service had taught her to trust her instincts, and right now every nerve in her body screamed danger. The hegemony claimed this was a routine diplomatic visit, but their formation suggested otherwise. "Ma'am." Energy spike detected from the lead vessel. Lieutenant Marcus Wong reported, his fingers dancing across the neural interface. "It doesn't match any known hegemony signature." Chen's eyes narrowed. The galactic hegemony had welcomed Earth into their fold just 6 months ago, promising protection and guidance for humanity's controlled development. But their definition of protection felt more like suffocation. "All stations, battle ready," Chen ordered, her voice steady. "Activate the quantum shields." "But Mom," her XO protested, the hegemony explicitly prohibited military-grade defensive systems in their acceptance treaties. Chen smiled grimly. "Good thing these aren't military-grade then, Dr. Walsh." Dr. Emily Walsh stepped forward, her white hair contrasting sharply with her dark skin. "The shields are technically a containment system for our quantum research facility. The fact that they can stop energy weapons is purely coincidental." The first shot from the hegemony fleet struck the shields, sending ripples of blue energy across the station's dome. Inside, 5,000 colonists continued their daily routines, protected by humanity's carefully hidden technological advances. "They're broadcasting," Wong announced. "Audio only." "This is Overseer Vaxthal of the Hegemony Peacekeeping Force." A melodious voice filled the command center. "Your installation has been found in violation of development protocols. Submit to immediate dimensional reduction or face extinction-level response." Chen's face hardened. The hegemony's favorite trick: destroy an upstart species' major installation, then offer sympathy and tighter controls in the aftermath. They'd done it 17 times before, according to the intelligence briefings. "Overseer," Chen responded, her voice deliberately steady, "we are a civilian research facility operating within agreed parameters. Your attack is unprovoked and—" The hegemony's second volley cut her off, this time with weapons that should have atomized the station. Instead, the quantum shields held, their surface rippling like disturbed water. "Impossible." Vaxthal's voice had lost its melodious quality. "Your species lacks the technological advancement for such defenses." About that, Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Computer, initiate Protocol Odysseus." Across the station, hidden systems activated. Quantum entanglement nodes, disguised as routine environmental sensors, began their work. The hegemony ship's weapon systems suddenly reported critical failures. Their engines sputtered and died. "What is this?" Vaxthal demanded. "What have you done?" "Nothing permanent," Chen assured him. "Just a demonstration of why assumptions can be dangerous. Your ships will regain full functionality once you're safely out of weapons range." The command center fell silent as the hegemony vessels drifted, powerless, their crews experiencing something they'd never expected: failure against a primitive species. "The Council will hear of this," Vaxthal threatened. "Your species will be contained, controlled, reduced." Chen's voice carried an edge of steel. "Tell them whatever you want, Overseer, but make sure you include this message. The next time the hegemony attempts to teach us our place, we won't be so gentle." As the hegemony ships limped away, Chen turned to her crew. "Send word to Earth Command. Operation Looking Glass is now active." She paused, watching the retreating vessels. "They thought they were teaching us a lesson. Instead, they just showed us exactly how their systems work." Dr. Walsh approached with a tablet displaying streams of data. The quantum scanners mapped their entire technological framework, every weakness, every backdoor. "Good," Chen nodded. "Because now we know exactly where to strike back. And unlike them, we won't be using warships and energy weapons." Her eyes gleamed with determination. "We'll use their own arrogance against them." Across Europa Station, life continued normally. But deep within its quantum cores, humanity's true response was already taking shape. The hegemony had just made their final mistake. They had assumed humanity would either cower or lash out blindly. They never considered that we might do neither. The game was on, and humanity was playing for keeps. Silent preparation. 3 months after the Europa incident, the hegemony's central processing hub on Proxima Vitae buzzed with its usual activity. None of its alien workers paid attention to the human maintenance technician adjusting environmental controls. After all, humans were now a common sight in lower-level positions, earning their place in galactic society. Dr. Maya Patel, her features subtly altered by quantum-engineered biomods, methodically worked her way through the facility systems. Her real identity as Earth's leading quantum physicist was buried under layers of carefully crafted documentation marking her as a simple maintenance worker. Environmental systems operating at optimal levels. Coordinator Zix, she reported, keeping her eyes downcast as protocol demanded. The tall crystalline being merely waved a dismissive appendage, never bothering to look at her directly. In the depths of her modified neural implants, Maya smiled. The hegemony's greatest weakness wasn't their technology. It was their absolute certainty that they were superior to younger species. Base command, maintenance route complete, she vocalized, the quantum-encrypted message racing through hidden channels to a facility deep beneath Mercury's surface. Admiral Chen's voice responded in her mind. Confirmation received. Status of the quantum seeds. Deployed and dormant. Maya replied, walking through the crowded corridors of the processing hub. They'll never detect them. The hegemony's scanning systems don't even acknowledge the possibility of quantum-level manipulation at this scale. The quantum seeds were humanity's masterpiece, microscopic devices that could integrate with any computer system, lying dormant until activated. Maya had just finished planting them throughout the hegemony's most crucial data processing center. Back on Mercury, Admiral Chen studied the growing web of infiltration displayed on her command center screens. Hundreds of altered humans like Maya were now positioned throughout hegemony space, each planting the seeds of their eventual downfall. Director Walsh, Chen called out, status of Project Mirror. Emily Walsh, now heading Earth's Quantum Defense Division, brought up a complex holographic display. The quantum network is expanding exactly as planned. Every time they scan us for compliance, their own systems are being mapped and indexed. The display showed thousands of points of light, each representing a quantum seed integrated into hegemony infrastructure. From shipping systems to defense networks, from communication hubs to environmental controls. They're still demanding we accept their guidance package, Chen noted, reading the latest diplomatic communications. The hegemony had been pushing increasingly restrictive oversight measures since the Europa incident. Let them, Walsh smiled. Every new system they install to monitor us becomes another vector for our quantum seeds. Their own paranoia is doing our work for us. A junior officer approached with a tablet. Admiral, the latest report from our corporate division. Hegemony Central Banking has approved our request to handle 30% of their routine financial transactions. Chen allowed herself a small smile. The hegemony thought they were giving humans busy work, letting them handle simple logistics and financial matters. They didn't realize that every transaction carried quantum seeds, spreading through their economic systems like a silent virus. Time estimate until full saturation. Chen asked. Walsh consulted her displays. At current rates, 3 more months. Their own security protocols are actually accelerating the process. Every time they run a system scan, the quantum seeds piggyback on their scanning signals to reach new systems. Chen nodded, studying the growing web of infiltration. The hegemony had expected humanity to either accept their dominance or rebel openly. Instead, humanity had chosen a third path, becoming the ghost in their machine, the invisible cancer in their systems. Begin Phase 3, Chen ordered. It's time to start tightening the web. Across hegemony space, quantum seeds pulsed invisibly, waiting for the signal. In offices and spaceships, in banks and defense installations, humans continued their seemingly menial work, each one a carefully placed piece in Earth's grand strategy. The Hegemony's Central Council remained confident in their control, never suspecting that their very efforts to contain humanity were becoming the instruments of their own vulnerability. They had taught humanity an important lesson about power, but not the one they intended. True power, humanity had learned, wasn't about having the biggest weapons or the most advanced technology. It was about patience, preparation, and the ability to strike at the perfect moment. And that moment was approaching faster than anyone in the hegemony could possibly imagine. The Web Titans, High Counselor Zextrol of the Hegemony, stood in his private chambers aboard the Citadel, his crystalline form reflecting the soft light of distant stars. Something was wrong. He could feel it in the subtle vibrations of his sensory filaments, but every system check showed perfect functionality. Computer, display current trade efficiency metrics, he commanded. The holographic display materialized, showing statistics that should have been reassuring. Human-operated shipping companies were performing at unprecedented efficiency levels. Their financial institutions were processing hegemony transactions with remarkable accuracy. Everything was running smoothly, too smoothly. Meanwhile, in a hidden chamber beneath Mercury's surface, Admiral Chen watched the same data with grim satisfaction. Status of Operation Stranglehold. Proceeding exactly as calculated. Director Walsh reported, the quantum seeds have achieved 97% penetration of critical hegemony systems. More importantly, they've started believing they depend on our efficiency. The plan was elegant in its simplicity. Rather than disrupt hegemony operations, humanity had made them run better than ever. But only through human-controlled systems. Every successful transaction, every smooth delivery, every perfectly maintained facility had slowly transferred real power from the hegemony to Earth. Interesting development from the diplomatic front. Lieutenant Commander Raj Kumar reported, entering the command center. They're proposing to elevate Earth's status. We'd be allowed to handle up to 60% of their core operations. Chen's smile was predatory. They're actually proposing to give us more control. Perfect. Accept the offer, with appropriate humility, of course. Back on the Citadel, Zextrol reviewed the latest intelligence reports. Several outer colonies had reported minor system fluctuations, but investigation teams found nothing wrong. The quantum seeds were invisible to their scanning technology, appearing only as optimal performance metrics. High Counselor, his aide interrupted, the humans have accepted our proposed status elevation. They seem appropriately grateful for the opportunity to serve. Zextrol's satisfaction rippled through his crystalline form. The Europa incident had worried some council members, but his strategy of gradually increasing human responsibilities while maintaining strict oversight had proven successful. Or so he thought. In that moment, Phase 3 of Earth's plan activated. Across hegemony space, quantum seeds began their subtle work. Critical systems continued functioning perfectly, but with microscopic delays. Delays that only human-operated systems could somehow avoid. Sir, Maya Patel reported to Chen from her position within the hegemony's central processing hub. The dependency protocols are active. Their own efficiency metrics are now pushing them to route more operations through our systems. The beauty of the plan lay in its subtlety. No alarms would sound, no systems would fail. Instead, the hegemony would find itself gradually, inexorably shifting more control to human-operated systems simply because they worked better. They still think they're in control, Walsh observed, watching the data flows. Every time they run a security check, every time they verify their dominance, they're actually reinforcing our position. Chen nodded. That's the true art of conquest, making your enemy thank you for taking their power. Throughout hegemony space, the pattern continued. Shipping companies found that human-operated routes were mysteriously more reliable. Banking systems discovered that transactions processed through Earth's quantum networks were fractionally faster. Defense installations noted that human maintenance crews somehow kept things running more smoothly. Final phase preparation status. Chen asked. Ready, Walsh confirmed. The moment they signal full integration of our systems, every quantum seed will activate simultaneously. Their entire infrastructure will be under our control in less than 6 seconds. The countdown had begun, but the hegemony didn't know it. They were too busy congratulating themselves on successfully managing humanity's development, never realizing they were orchestrating their own obsolescence. In his chambers, Zextrol finally identified what was bothering him. The humans were being too perfect, too efficient, too useful. But by the time this thought formed fully in his crystalline consciousness, it would be far too late. The web had tightened, and the hegemony had helped spin it around themselves. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology or force. It was the ability to turn an enemy's strength into a weakness. And in less than 24 hours, that lesson would become impossible to ignore. System failure. The day the hegemony fell began like any other. High Counselor Zextrol arrived at the central chamber for the integration ceremony that would formally recognize humanity's enhanced status in managing hegemony operations. The irony of the moment was lost on everyone except the scattered humans present, their expressions carefully neutral. Initiate final protocols. Admiral Chen's command echoed through quantum-encrypted channels to every infiltrated human agent across hegemony space. In response, thousands of quantum seeds stirred to life, invisible to even the most sophisticated hegemony detection systems. The ceremony began with typical hegemony pomp. Zextrol stood before the assembled council, his crystalline form radiating assumed superiority. Today marks a new era in guided species development. The humans have proven themselves worthy of greater responsibility in serving the hegemony's grand design. In the Mercury Command Center, Chen watched the ceremony through multiple feeds. Status of operation checkmate. All systems aligned, Walsh reported. Quantum network primed and ready, awaiting your command. The timing had to be perfect. The hegemony's own protocols required all major systems to synchronize during status elevation ceremonies, a security measure meant to prevent infiltration. Instead, it would become the key to their undoing. Let the integration commence, Zextrol announced. Across hegemony space, systems began their synchronization sequence. Chen's voice was cold. Execute. In that instant, every quantum seed activated simultaneously. The hegemony's synchronized systems became the perfect transmission network for humanity's takeover. Like a wave of digital lightning, human control protocols spread through every connected system. The first sign that something was wrong came from the environmental controls. The central chamber's perfectly regulated atmosphere shifted slightly, making the crystalline council members experience mild discomfort. Nothing dangerous, just enough to create uncertainty. Minor system fluctuation, a technical administrator announced. Rerouting through human-maintained backup systems. Exactly as planned. The hegemony's own protocols automatically shifted critical functions to the most reliable systems, which were now all under human control. Financial networks experiencing lag. Another report came in. Switching to human-operated processing nodes. One by one, crucial hegemony systems reported minor issues, each automatically transferring control to human-operated backups. The beauty of the plan lay in its use of the hegemony's own failsafes and procedures. Zextrol began to realize something was wrong when he tried to access the central command protocols. Security override Apex 1, he commanded. Nothing happened. I'm afraid those codes no longer work, High Counselor, a calm voice announced. Admiral Chen's hologram materialized in the center of the chamber, her expression stern but composed. In fact, none of your override codes will work anymore. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Guards attempted to activate defense systems, only to find them unresponsive. Emergency protocols initiated automatically, transferring even more systems to human control. What is the meaning of this? Zextrol demanded, his crystalline form vibrating with rage. This is a lesson in humility, Chen replied. One you taught us, though not in the way you intended. When you attacked Europa Station, you showed us that true power isn't about weapons or technology. It's about control. Across hegemony space, the same scene played out. Critical systems experience minor failures, automatically transferring control to human-operated backups. Defense platforms, communication networks, transportation systems, everything that made the hegemony function now responded only to human commands. "You can't do this," a council member protested. "The other galactic species will never allow it." Chen's smile was cold. "They already have. Check your communication systems, the ones we now control. The other species are quite impressed with our efficiency. In fact, many of them have already signed new trade agreements with Earth." The final phase of humanity's plan revealed itself. They hadn't just taken control of hegemony systems, they had made themselves indispensable to the entire galactic economy. "You have a choice," Chen announced to the stunned council. "Acknowledge Earth as an equal partner in galactic affairs, or watch your entire civilization grind to a halt. We control every system you need to function. How long do you think your species can survive without the infrastructure you've become dependent on?" The chamber fell silent as the full implications sank in. The hegemony had spent centuries building a galaxy-spanning civilization based on their technological superiority. Now that same technology had become their weakness. In the Mercury Command Center, Walsh updated the status displays. "Complete system control achieved. No casualties. No destruction. Just like you planned, Admiral." Chen nodded, watching the council members through the holographic feed. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying your enemy. It's about making them realize they were wrong about who the real enemy was. The hegemony was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their ability to fight. It was their ability to turn defeat into victory, to transform subjugation into dominance, and to do it all without firing a single shot. New Order. 1 month after what historians would later call the Silent Revolution, Admiral Chen stood before the newly formed Galactic Cooperative Council. The chamber, once dominated by the crystalline architecture of hegemony design, now incorporated elements from all member species, including the distinctive quantum-enhanced materials of human engineering. High Counselor Zextrol, now serving as just one voice among many, watched with barely concealed frustration as Chen addressed the assembly. His once commanding presence had diminished, but the lesson humanity had taught hadn't been lost on him or his species. "The transition period has been completed," Chen reported. "All systems have been successfully integrated into the new cooperative network. Every member species now has equal access and control over their own infrastructure." The change had been remarkable in its efficiency. Rather than dismantling the hegemony systems, humanity had reorganized them, creating a genuinely collaborative network where each species contributed their strengths. "An interesting report from the outer colonies," Director Walsh added, her hologram materializing beside Chen. "Productivity has increased by 40% since the implementation of shared control protocols. It seems cooperation yields better results than dominance." The other species representatives nodded in agreement. Many had chafed under hegemony control but lacked the means to challenge it. Humanity hadn't just freed themselves, they had transformed the entire galactic power structure. "There are still those who question the legitimacy of this new arrangement," a hegemony representative protested. "The use of quantum infiltration was precisely the lesson you taught us." Chen interrupted smoothly. "You showed us that true power comes from understanding and controlling systems. We simply proved to be better students than you expected." The chamber's quantum displays showed real-time data from across the galaxy. Trade routes once restricted by hegemony oversight now flowed freely. Scientific research, no longer constrained by artificial development tiers, produced breakthrough after breakthrough through cross-species collaboration. Maya Patel, now openly serving as Earth's quantum science advisor, presented the next phase of development. The integration of human quantum technology with hegemony crystalline computing has opened new possibilities. We're seeing computational capabilities that neither species could achieve alone. This was humanity's true victory, not the defeat of an enemy, but the transformation of one. The hegemony's technological prowess, combined with human innovation and freed from the constraints of superiority, was revolutionizing galactic civilization. We should have seen it, Zextral admitted, speaking for the first time. Your species never sought to destroy or dominate. Even your revenge was constructive. Chen's expression softened slightly. Because we learned from history. Earth's own past showed us that empires built on dominance eventually fall. True civilization requires cooperation, equality, and mutual respect. The quantum seeds, once tools of infiltration, had become the foundation of a new galactic network. Each species now contributed their unique perspectives and capabilities, creating something greater than any could achieve alone. The Outer Rim reports are particularly interesting, Walsh noted. Species that were considered too primitive for hegemony membership are now contributing remarkable innovations through the cooperative framework. This was perhaps the most profound change. The rigid hierarchy that had stifled galactic development for centuries had been replaced by a dynamic, evolving network of equals. Humanity's greatest contribution wasn't their technology or their strategy. It was their vision of what civilization could be. There will always be challenges, Chen acknowledged to the assembly. But we face them together now, as equals. The age of imposed order is over. The age of cooperative development has begun. As the session concluded, Chen stood at the chamber's viewport, watching ships of various species moving through the coordinated dance of galactic commerce. Earth vessels flew alongside hegemony ships, their crews working together with an efficiency that would have seemed impossible just months ago. They still don't fully understand, do they? Walsh asked, joining her at the viewport. Chen shook her head. They think our victory was in taking control of their systems, but the real victory was in showing them a better way to use them. The stars stretched out before them, no longer representing a hierarchy to be climbed, but a frontier to be explored together. Humanity had entered galactic society as supposed servants, endured as supposed inferiors, and emerged not as conquerors, but as catalysts for change. The hegemony had sought to teach humanity their place in the galaxy. Instead, humanity had taught the galaxy that there were no places, only possibilities. And in that lesson lay the greatest victory of all.